Phoenix Suns fans, off-season guide. What should you do? This sounds like I'm gonna give you some heartfelt advice, Nick, on what your beloved team should do here to take the next step. And that's key. Take the next step. Because I feel like a lot of your takes are like, blow it all up, start again, just, just trade everyone. But that doesn't really make take the next step. And I think every team objectively can look at what they have, where they're at, and what they need to do to take the next step. And just like you guys have that same sort of situation. I think firstly, you guys need to accept that your championship window is closed with CP3. I think that's a real sad realization. Yeah, if you want some tears here coming down my face, all right, that CP3 is no longer that superstar, that probably a Hall of Famer one day, that player that he was. You know, age catches up with everyone. And he's no longer able to lead a team to a ring. He never did, and definitely is not going to now. And so you guys really need to look at who is going to be your point guard of the future and how that necessarily looks like. Now, I think whoever you're looking out there, and there's plenty of options. There's definitely plenty of options out there. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge scorer. Okay. In fact, it's probably a guard that has some size and plays some really good defense. And Booker can obviously distribute. He's a bit of a hybrid guard there that can play the 1 and a 2 now, especially the last few seasons. He can probably bump his assist over the course of the season if he was handling the ball much more to play the 7 to 8 assists per game sort of mark if he wanted to or needed to. And especially with KD now, he doesn't necessarily have to score so much. Okay, so he could still probably average 25 and 8, something along those sort of lines. And KD would obviously be able to score 25, 30 points as well a game, at this point still for, I'd say at least another season. So you guys probably need to consider that, which obviously leads to my next point. You guys need to get KD for a whole season. Yeah, again, nothing crazy you got to do here. Let's look at KD next to Booker with this core. You've got a new coach now. Look, I don't know. That's another topic, but what can Frank Vogel do here for you guys to take the next step? I think that's really important. Can KD and Booker get 70 games under the belt, stay relatively healthy for this year? Fingers crossed. Otherwise, you guys are going to be Clippers 2.0. Isn't that the reality? So here's my trade. Listen carefully. You might go, this is terrible, or maybe you might actually go, hey, maybe he makes some sense. I don't know. I'm saying you put CP3 and Aiton on the trade block. You trade them together, and you want to bring back Mikal Bridges, and here we go, Ben Simmons. So, a bit crazy, right? You're gonna go, hey, Mikal Bridges. Well, actually, he was like your favorite son till you traded him, right? That's the reality, and he's that sort of defensive stopper that every team loves. Okay. Now, again, would Brooklyn do this trade? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Okay. But hey, they're getting rid of Ben Simmons. I don't know. Okay. But look, anyway, I'm not sitting here on the side of Brooklyn right now. But right now I'm saying, how do we make the Suns better? And I'm saying if you could bring back Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons, I think, fingers crossed, if you could get Ben Simmons of last year even and put him alongside Booker, Bridges, KD, and a number five man that you're going to have to sign somewhere, I think you're going to take the next step. I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, look, it's funny because I pitched Ben Simmons for Cat in another trade, and your reaction was quite visceral. And it's funny because I had the same reaction when it affected me. So that
When it
probably says
affected
more
you.
about Ben Simmons. When it That probably says more about Ben Simmons than it does about anything else. Um, Look, I one of the hardest parts for Phoenix is that they're tied up in a lot of money up the top. Again, like really the last couple of teams that we've looked at, it's that same bracket of these teams don't really have anywhere to go. And they're in that tax bracket now where they can't do the mid-level exceptions or they don't have draft picks because they've made moves. And so they're committed. What we know is Monty is out, and we theorized this the other week. Was that the reason why Aiton wasn't brought in? We're not too sure. Aiton's young, he's got potential, but it's not working. And what we do know works is KD and Booker are potent offensively, enough so that up until Miami wins another game, they were the most competitive team that Denver had to deal with. And so that's what we build around. And that was my logic here. So this is a throwback to the Atlanta video, but Atlanta and Craig go out to bring in Collins and Hunter. The logic behind this is Collins is going to be your energy big with effort. And that's a big knock against Ayton because you see it all the time. He lacks effort to box out, he lacks effort to chase the rebounds. And John Collins has kind of proven he can play with people who like to chuck the ball constantly. So I like his chances on that. DeAndre Hunter, we hope comes in, acts like that versatile wing that they've signed him to be in Atlanta, but really hasn't come to fruition. Then Chris Paul, we both admit it. Yeah, the time has kind of run the course. It's too much money for a point guard that can't perform at the level that we're used to. He's been a great culture setter. Thank you so much. Maybe you keep him on the team for a day to give him the championship ring in case they win it, but he's out. And he's heading off to the San Antonio Spurs for Devontae Graham and Zach Collins. The idea of this trade is Chris Paul can be a great mentor to Wembanyama, right? And maybe make them a bit competitive because he's proven time and time again, give him a young team and he can probably do something with it. And we get back Devontae Graham, which can be our six-man sort of pocket rocket, and Zach Collins, which obviously starts to shore up our front court that we've obviously just lost in Ayton. And then I pitched this trade a long time ago with the Wizards, but I stand by it. Landry Shamet is not where you want your fourth most expensive contract to be. And he goes out for Denny Advija from the Wizards and along with Ricky Davis. The idea of this, it's just two players for one with different money, different bodies to throw at it. And in case you've wondered, what is the starting lineup looking like now? Cam Payne gets to slot into the starting position, and he's teaming up with either Graham or Advija or Ricky Davis. I'm so sorry about that name, by the way. And Booker and Durant are going to do their things, and they've got Zach Collins and DeAndre Ayton. Hunter. There's so many names. This is where the trade machine just got out of control for me. But the idea of this is, in addition to what you said, I know I'm blowing up a lot of different things, but this is a full season with a new core that personally, I think you can keep your core together. You can keep my core together. KD and Booker, if they're healthy, that's enough. That's enough to make you really competitive. But I think the auxiliary moves that I'm doing around those two are better in the long term with financial status because if Phoenix are locked into this team for another season or two, to me, it feels as grim as, Golden State does. It's so much money tied up into a team that maybe can't do it anymore unless everything falls right. But how do you feel about my team? Surely this is the one that you've got to agree I've done all right on.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna really pitch my trade a little bit heavier here, okay? And just
I can't have Ben Simmons, man.
I'm gonna let me just spell it out to you why I think so. Okay, let's not lean too much on the Brooklyn side. Okay, no one thinks they're gonna give up Mikal Bridges for such a trade. Absolutely agree. You probably should not. But they do get back Aiden. All right, he is a talented five, and in a new scenario, could thrive. CP3, although he's aging and health is a huge concern, especially come playoff time, I think you got to give him credit that he's always kept teams and organizations respectable and accountable. And I think Brooklyn right now probably could do with some level of leadership and direction in that sort of sense. So having him around with all the other core pieces there that they still have, Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas and who else, Dorian Finney-Smith and all the other pieces they got that they got in the trade deadline last year, Dinwiddie obviously as well. Okay, that CP3 in that environment, you could make an argument, could potentially get them back to the playoffs. Okay. Even though he's at the age he is and his sort of ability at this point, but just the sort of player and personality that he is, which obviously flips us over to the Phoenix Suns here. Now, Ben Simmons, what if Ben Simmons didn't have to shoot? That's probably your biggest sticking point. You're like, I don't want Ben Simmons. Okay. But what if he didn't have to shoot? All right. If Ben Simmons could thrive in a 25 to 30 night per minute role, taking 5 shots a game. Yeah. And he didn't have to shoot a 3. And I think that's where Phoenix could be a really intriguing landing place here in theory if this trade was to go through, is because you got two players, in fact, all right, which you alluded to already, that are sort of elite scorers in KD and Devin Booker. They're going to take the majority of your shots. You get Mikal Bridges back, and he's shown he can easily score 20 points a game too as well. So he's your third option. Ben Simmons as an offensive end can easily be a 4th or 5th option. That's fine. But what you're looking for him to do is play some elite defense, which, well, here's what everyone's going to sort of argue about, right? Can he still do? I don't know, but his size doesn't go away. His size doesn't go away. All right. And you can make the argument here that, in the right environment and the right role for Ben Simmons now. I think we all got to let go of Ben Simmons, who he used to be. All right. But Ben Simmons now, um, could he succeed? I don't know. I guess I still feel my trade is probably much more balanced than yours. You've sort of shifted a lot of pieces that you don't even remember who's in your starting lineup anymore. And I guess, look, I don't know. I guess both our takes here are probably, someone's going to have to go out there and give us our third party opinion here. Maybe which way is a bit of a better way for the Phoenix Suns.
Maybe this is another 2K sim team, because yeah, I have moved a lot of pieces. Um, I just think I kind of want to go back in time and trade Cat for someone else because the Ben Simmons thing is actually like going to weigh on me a lot. I don't want that. I don't want that scenario, and I feel like the comment section needs to jump on you for something about that because there's no way. They've already tried it. They already tried it with KD and Kyrie, and it didn't come to fruition. Maybe Kyrie's to blame for everything. I don't know. I just don't. No, no, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm all good. Even if it brought back Mikal Bridges, even if it, even if it reduced everyone's salary by 10% some magical way, even if it fixed the cartilage in my knees, I don't want Ben Simmons. I just don't.
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Fowles, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.